Hello and welcome to Music with Mason. My name is Mason Fall. I am here joined with the one and only Worst Impressions. From Iowa City. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing pretty good tonight, gotta say.
So, who's all here with us right now?
All right, tonight we've got, speaking right now is Garrett. We've got Carson, the drummer. Colton, the guitarist. And Shane, the bass. Unfortunately, Kylie couldn't make it tonight, but
hey, I mean,
got all the rest.
her loss.
Yep.
So, just to start off, I know you guys are a bluesy grunge punk band based from Iowa City, but dating back to when you guys first started a band, was it called Part-Time Vegan?
Not quite. So, actually, Part-Time Vegan was another band that Kylie and I were a part of, and things kind of went south with that, and we didn't really have the freedoms that we wanted within that band to just kind of do our own songs and do our own thing. So we had a really bad show with Part-Time Vegan. She wasn't even there that night, but I was there, and it just kind of, the Part-Time Vegan just kind of fell apart that night. And I had another show that I had booked for Part-Time Vegan about a month and a half later, and really wanted to play that show. So I had a good group of guys, and we all got together and formed Worst Impressions.
All right. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it was, not the greatest to, just dissolve like that, but, you have to do what you have to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of with the whole Part-Time Vegan thing, it was kind of a long time coming, unfortunately.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things where sometimes you start a band with your friends and you all kind of want to go different ways musically, and it just doesn't mesh as well as you hope it would. And then sometimes egos get involved, and that kind of helps deteriorate things, unfortunately.
Right. But hey, now you've got a band that you actually enjoy being with, and now you can enjoy doing these concerts with a band that you can actually trust, and bond with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know recently you guys attended Fishbait's album release costume party, and I just wanted to know what if you guys dressed up or not.
Oh yeah, we were wizards.
You were wizards?
We were wizards. So there was like an AI meme that I saw on TikTok about like a night out on the town with the wizards, and so I was like, that would be ridiculous if all of us were dressed like wizards. So we were wizards, and I had an orb and everything. So
that's awesome.
A lot of fun.
So I also know that you guys played with Kiss the Tiger and Early Girl.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
Really good, really good. We played with Early Girl quite a few times, and they're phenomenal. They're a lot of fun to play with.
Yeah, and actually
they had quite the stage presence, so it was a great show.
Actually, recently, quite yesterday, I did an interview with Early Girl.
Oh, nice. How was that?
It was great. We had a great time. But yeah. So I also know you opened for Austin Meade. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So we've this summer, I don't know, we just got super lucky, and we had the opportunity to open for a lot of pretty big name bands, just kind of out of nowhere. And Austin Meade was one of them, and just to be like, I don't know, be the opener for like touring bands like that. It's just a wonderful opportunity, like it seems like not real.
Hey,
but we work like Rad Key as well. They were on tour with the Foo Fighters for a little bit, and then we opened for Drowning Pool at one point in the summer too. So Blacktop Mojo as well. So
that's awesome.
Pretty crazy year.
Hey, if you got to get your name out somehow, those guys will definitely help you out.
Oh yeah.
So I also know that you guys attended Iowa Music Awards and you were nominated for Rock Band of the Year.
Yeah, that was pretty pretty big shocker for us, actually.
Like, how was the experience? Like, what did you guys see over there? Did you meet anyone interesting? Like, what was it like?
Being kind of like newcomers in the scene, we didn't really branch out too much from our regular group because Fish Bait, they're all really good friends of ours, so we kind of hung out with them, and then the Kobe Williams and the Fantasy Band, because we all know those guys, so we just all kind of sat together and enjoyed the night amongst ourselves. But it was a pretty cool thing that they're putting together. I hope they continue to really help it grow and like just kind of advance it throughout the state.
Right. I mean, Iowa isn't really known for having a wide variety of different music, more than just rock and roll and maybe a little country. But I mean, it's still growing financially, and like it has a bigger variety of people coming in and enjoying like a wonderful time, just hanging out together, knowing musicians, just meeting each other. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I've actually really had my eyes kind of open to just how wonderful the Iowa music scene is within this last year, starting first impressions, because we've got to meet a whole lot of new people and just trying to network and expose the band to different scenes and stuff here and there. There's a like a Spotify playlister that has like a bunch of social media. I think he's from around here, but their name is Villin, Villin, and they do a fantastic job just kind of like chronicling like Iowa music. And so if you ever want to just like a really good exposure to like what it all is going on throughout Iowa at any given time, they have just put together so many different playlists of different genres from like Iowa musicians. It's pretty spectacular, actually.
That's super cool. I mean, I would kill to have that job. Just looking at different bands from here and there. I mean, you can go to anyone and just research them and just get them out there. Super cool.
Oh yeah.
So
it's pretty doing too. So this is like right here what you're doing. This is great for helping kind of just expose the scene too, and help get bands out there as well.
Yeah, man, it's the greatest feeling in the world. I get to talk to so many bands. It doesn't matter if they're huge or small, if they're rock and roll, or if they're pop, or if they're anything like that. I mean, I just love being able to interview people like you because, just seeing the talent you guys bring to the table and knowing that you guys actually wanted to be on this show with me and talk to me and I get to interview you is just a wonderful feeling.
Man, we really appreciate those kind words.
But yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So in September, did you guys host the Worst Impression session to debut your Love You Anyways EP?
We did. Yeah, that was a really fun event. We thought of how can we make this kind of like a special EP release show, because we've had a lot of friends that have had different EP release shows over the years around here where they've just they've produced an album or an EP or something like that, and then they have a little not quite like a festival, but just it'll be 5 or 6 bands or something like that on the bill at Gabe's, and it's always just a great night. So we wanted to find a way to make ours stand out, so we actually grilled out at Gabe's, which was kind of a wild time. But I have a friend that's a professional chef, and he was making bratwurst out back while people were playing music, and it was a really good night.
I mean, eating bratwurst and listening to a bunch of rock bands. I mean, what is there a better night than that? Can you even imagine?
I really don't think so. I think that's about as good as it gets,
Yeah, man. I mean, bratwurst and rock and roll, that's the most American thing I can think of. So
Absolutely.
When you did the concert, you got bands like Critical Mass and Fish Bait and Bone Brews out there. How did you end up getting those guys to get on the concert with you?
Oh yeah, so Critical Mass, actually our current drummer Carson is the drummer for Critical Mass, and we've been friends with those guys forever. So they were a pretty easy pickup, and then Fish Bait, they're really good friends of ours. I'm pretty good friends with Thomas. we just kind of like through Part-Time Beacon, I kind of grew up with all those guys a little bit. I would say throughout the last like 3 years, kind of playing in the music scene in Iowa City. Maze is Dane Miller's band. Dane Miller is the kind of the owner and operator and engineer at the Vault recording studio in West Liberty. They're like a super great psych rock band, and Dan actually was the engineer for our album. So we spent a whole lot of time with him this summer, or EP, whole lot of time this summer working on that with him. And then actually Bone Bruise that was kind of an offshoot of some members of Worst Impressions, but they unfortunately couldn't make the show because they had some other things going on. So we had to have our friends from Soup Riot join, and they did a phenomenal job of just kind of opening up the night for everybody. So.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it was a great time having all those bands that you guys were very familiar with and were friends with, just hanging out and just enjoying bratwurst while rocking on. And I mean,
oh yeah,
so
it kind of helps keep the mood light, you know, when you got all your friends playing.
I also know in November you guys played at the Raccoon Motel.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if you knew this, but I'm actually from the Quad Cities, and
really,
yeah, I absolutely love the Raccoon Motel. It's a great place. It's an absolute amazing adventure, especially with all the bands coming in to play at it.
Oh yeah, it's like you pretty much haven't made it in any way at all unless you played the Raccoon Motel. So
it's iconic. It's iconic, especially for the Midwest.
It is. It was a phenomenal venue. It's just got such a great history and of bringing cool bands through there, and I've seen some really cool bands myself there. So it was once a time.
Yeah, totally agree with that. So I also know that your last concert of 2023, I don't know if it's true if it's the last concert of 2023, but I know you guys are going to be heading over to Wildwood to play along with Dark Agenda, Overthrow, and Non Grata.
Yep.
So what is Wildwood?
Wildwood is it's kind of like Iowa City's bigger venue. So it's run by the same people that book for Gabe's, and so when there's kind of a bigger act rolling through Iowa City, they'll bring them to Wildwood because it can hold a lot more people, and it's like this really great barbecue restaurant too. They have some awesome pulled pork, but yeah, it's a really fun venue. That's where we play with all the big bands that we've played this year. Pretty much, we played with Drowning Pool there, and we played with Dark Agenda, Blacktop. So yeah, we've already played Dark Agenda there. This will be our first show with Non Grata, and we're kind of excited for that because those guys are pretty legendary in the Iowa City scene here. Actually, a fun fact that I don't think anyone knows, but our drum set is like their old practice set.
Really?
So, yeah.
So how did that go down? They just gave it to you guys, or?
Like an old member of their band had one of their practice sets, and he was selling it on Facebook Marketplace or something, and I
thought it
was great. I found it out afterwards.
You just happened to cap it up, so I mean that's really interesting. So for next year, you guys are heading over to Ideal Theater to play with the Surf Zombies. Yeah,
it'll be our first show of the year next year.
So how was it like? How did you end up getting that venue?
We have played the Ideal Theater a couple times. Kenyon's been a great supporter of us up there. She's brought us back a few times, and I think we've had every time we've been up there, we feel like we've had a really good show. So they want us back, I guess.
I mean, hey, if they'll have you. I mean,
oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's a beautiful spot too. Like they got a really cool bar, and it's really cool what they're doing for local music up there in Cedar Rapids too.
Right. So I know I've already been talking so much about these wonderful, wonderful venues you guys gone to in these concerts, and I'm sure it's totally not boring you, but I mean, overall, with all the concerts and tours you've gone to, like, what would be like each of your favorite places you've played at?
Each of them? Wildwood for sure. Wildwood for sure. Mine's Gabe. I think Gabe is my favorite. Just home base. Where I first ever played.
What about you, Shane?
I don't know. I just like to play, man. So wherever we're playing, I'm just there, and that's what I like. So we played the most at Gabe, so I guess I'll pick Gabe.
I don't want to play favorites.
Yep.
Hey, a venue's a venue, right?
But no, we played at a lot of really really great venues. Like I can't think of one that I've played at that I've been like, man, that sucked, because every one of them's been very very professional and just like has helped us bring in a crowd and all that. So
Right. So I guess, I mean, we're going to go back a little back in time. How long have each of you been playing your instruments?
I have been playing guitar since I was 12 years old, I think, and I'm currently 25.
Wow, 13 years.
Yeah, I'm Colton speaking here, the second guitarist. I've been playing for 16 years.
Jeez.
Off and on. I mean, I haven't taken it super seriously until the last year or so, probably. But yeah, that's when I first picked up a guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, bassist here. I've had a bass since 2008, but I've really only played it since 2023.
I mean,
Carson, the drummer. I've been playing since I was playing drums since I was about 5. I'm 20 now. Yeah.
since 5.
Yeah.
That's amazing to think about.
When I was 5, it wasn't much of playing. It was more like hitting stuff and thinking it sounded cool. So I kind of went more with it.
I had an Elmo guitar when I was like 3.
I mean, that's how bands are made, with Elmo guitars and, you know, bashing things over with sticks.
Oh yeah, we've been a great band.
I mean, so, what would you say would be the furthest destination you've traveled for a concert or a show?
I would say Des Moines. We played at Capital City Pride Fest this year, and that was our first and only show so far in Des Moines. And experience too. That was Des Moines really like embracive culture of like local music. So it was really cool to go there and play for a big crowd like that.
So do you guys plan on heading outside of Iowa anytime soon to go play at like maybe Illinois or Wisconsin or Minnesota or anything like that, like in the future?
Yeah, I think down the road, we really want to try to get connected with some bands in Chicago and maybe like Minneapolis or St. Louis and kind of develop a bit of a circuit where we're playing more big cities around the Midwest, just kind of help grow our fan base a little bit.
Right, just branch out, you know, try to get your name out in some other places. But yeah, I mean,
that's kind of the big thing with like with being in original bands and like not being around very long. If you're playing in the same spot all the time, it's hard to see new faces and hard to make kind of new impressions and stuff. So that's kind of what we want to do eventually, you know.
Right. So, I guess for each of you, do you have a favorite band or artist or musician?
Mm-hmm. I sure do. My favorite band and a pretty big inspiration right now is Fleet Token, because the drumming is very, I don't know what style to call it. It's very like kind of church-like worship style drumming, but in a metal setting, which I think is really cool and I'm trying to work more with. So that's what's carrying me right now. That's Colton, the
guitarist over here. Probably one of my favorite bands at the time would be Casket. I don't know what to pinpoint about them that I like so much, but I like the more like a more mass sound type of thing. It's really melodic. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that much, but that's one of my go-tos right now.
Yeah, this is Shane. I do not play favorites with bands, so it'd be too hard to list my favorite.
You should run for office.
Yeah, I could probably talk to you forever about trying to decipher what my favorite band is, but I guess like the one I'm listening to the most right now is probably Viagra Boys, but that has the least to do with the kind of music that I play. I would say like influences. Probably Queens of the Stone Age and Highly Suspect are probably two of my biggest influences on like my playing style. I like to create more of a dramatic scene with how I'm playing, and I think Queens of the Stone Age does a really good job at making their songs change direction all the time and really build up to kind of a big like crescendo at some point or another. And then Highly Suspect does a good job at that too.
Yeah. I mean, coming from someone who just totally loves rock and roll and, classic rock indeed, I'm starting to listen to Jack Stauber, if you don't know who that is, but so, it's definitely not rock and roll, that's for sure. But, I mean, it doesn't matter if you listen to country and you're a rock and roll fan, or if you listen to BTS and you're a diehard country fan. It doesn't really matter as long as you're enjoying what you love, and you don't have to have favorites that are in your genre of music. So
absolutely.
So moving on. So I know this is a weird section of an interview, but I kind of did some research and I want to know if these facts are true. So CJ and Garrett, did you both run track for college?
I did. Colton was on he was on the Iowa Track and Field Club, so he also kind of did.
That's where I met Garrett, is on the club when he transferred to the University of Iowa here. So yeah, that is basically true.
Yeah, I went to Indian Hills for a couple years. Ran track and cross country for them there, and then I transferred up here.
Okay, very cool. Also, Garrett, are you an aerospace engineer?
I am.
How did you get How did you get into that field?
So that's kind of been a weird transition. So I went to the University of Iowa here, and I decided I was going to do engineering when I got here, and I went into biomedical engineering, and I was like, I'm going to do this one because everyone says it's hard, and I can probably either go to, I don't know, med school or like get like an engineering job with this, and got really tired of school because I was going through code, and then I graduated, and I was like, I'm going to just get a job and see what I want to do from there. I worked as a pharmaceutical engineer for a couple of years and realized I don't really like doing industry work because it kind of, I don't know, it didn't feel as fulfilling for me. And so I was just constantly just kind of scanning the University of Iowa job portal, and they had a posting for an aerospace engineering position. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. I'm going to apply. It kind of like a joke. And I interviewed, and it felt like a pretty good fit, and they offered it to me, and now I would consider myself maybe the dumbest person on a NASA project.
TLDR, he murdered an aerospace engineer and took his job.
So I know Kuna isn't here, but does she own a turtle?
She does. She does have a pet turtle.
What's the turtle?
I can't remember.
You don't remember its name?
No, but
how long?
We can follow.
How long has she had a turtle?
I probably a long time. I think they lived forever.
Turtles actually had hers.
Wow.
Been around longer.
So is Michael here right now? I don't remember.
He is not. Mike decided he wanted to pursue other things musically, so he is no longer drumming for Worst Impressions at this time.
That's just how it goes. So, I guess for each of you, who really inspired you to become a musician? Do you have any heroes? Was it just a personal thing? Like, was it like, do you have like anyone that you can consider like someone who really wanted you to become a musician?
For me, both of my uncles played guitar growing up, and they were the ones that bought me the Elmo guitar. So I think that has a strong effect or a strong thing to do with it. Then I just kind of listened to a lot of rock music growing up, and all the stereotypical rock music icons like Slash and all that I wanted to be like when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, Colton here. For me, I don't know. I like the music, and then I just wanted to make it. I mean, it was kind of on back burner for most of my life, but yeah, I can't really speak to someone who specifically influenced music a whole lot in my close circle at all. Not really.
Shane here. My uncle had a band when I was growing up, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I would go into their rehearsal space and watch them rehearse, and that's what kind of gave me the bug for wanting to be in a band. And turns out it's really hard to find a good bassist who's chill and doesn't have an ego problem around here. So that was the role I decided to fill in order to be able to play the most shows.
Carson here. My dad was a drummer for a lot of his life, and he introduced me to the drums. But throughout the rest of my musical journey, it was a lot of what I was doing through schooling. I was taught music since I was in elementary school. But my style of playing is really influenced by the people who I listen to, very heavily inspired by Danny Carey, by Tool, Joe, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but drummer of Gojira. A lot of that kind of influenced how I played, and hearing that music and seeing live performances really pushed me to want to kind of strive for the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, family could really make an impact on you, especially your father. I mean, it's super cool to see you guys coming from, just like children listening to cool people play rock and roll, like your uncles and, the people who you listen to. And then all of a sudden you guys become a band and now you're playing together and you sound awesome. It's just chemistry that just works perfectly. So we're going down to the last few questions here. If you could collab with anyone that has either passed away or is still alive today, who would it be and why?
Like each of us? Or just the band? Because I've got a lot of answers.
Go for it. Go for it.
Well, my personal collab would either be Lowe's or Pierce the Veil or Hail the Sun. Those are my three.
I think for me, okay. It probably goes back to once again Queens of the Stone Age or Highly Suspect, just because I think musically, but I would love to do one with Viagra Boys just because they're so weird, but I have no idea what that would sound like.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, Queens of the Stone Age, I absolutely enjoy them. super cool band. We have a lot of their songs on our radio. So I guess right here, what is the future of Worst Impressions looking like? Are we going to get another album? Like, are there going to be more tour dates? Are we going to be seeing a single come out? Like, what do you do you guys have anything planned for the future of 2024?
Oh yeah. So right now, we're kind of like cooling off a little bit from the EP release and trying to reset a little bit and really sit down and like work on writing. And we're coming up with all sorts of new songs and stuff that we want to kind of pit them against each other, see what sounds the best, and see what we can do for coming up with a first like real full length album here. So that's probably goal number one. Goal number two would definitely be to try to branch out where we're playing, play some different areas, keep playing with some other bigger bands, and maybe see if we can slip into a festival here or there.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be super cool. You guys should totally come head up to Fort Dodge, where I am right now, and start playing randomly. Or you can go right back down to the Raccoon Motel.
There we go.
So
I'm down. Tom wants us there. So.
So the last question I have, I've asked every single person I've had on the show with, if you could tell the young aspiring musicians out there who are struggling to make it work but really have the passion and the effort for it, what would you tell them?
Friends with other artists.
Okay.
Make friends with other artists. Like, don't have an attitude about being the best in everything. Like, collaborate and support the community.
Yeah. It's a long process. It's entirely worth it, but it's not something you like get instant gratification out of. Like, you got to work for it, but it's entirely worth working for it.
Yeah. I would say, for me, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and like really just like give it a shot. You know, like you can practice in your bedroom forever, and you can get to the point where you're a phenomenal guitarist, but like that's not as fun as going out and playing a bunch of power chords with your friends. So I have a passion side project that I've been working on that has our first show next month, but it's called Ice Wolf Thunder Force. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And I consider ourselves accidental post-punk because we sound bad, but like not on purpose. And yeah, we just like, I'm trying to learn how to play drums in a month so we can play this show. And then everybody else has like a year at most experience, I think, on guitar. And it's like whenever they pick up a guitar, so it's not very often. But it'll be interesting. I think it's got potential. It might be fun. We'll see.
Yeah. That's super cool. So I think that's going to wrap it up here, guys. I just really want to say thank you so much for joining me on the show.
I did have one more thing. This is cold, Nick. As far as what I would tell somebody who's starting out and is trying to get going, I would tell them to play what they want to play and don't worry about what people think sounds good. To make music for themselves, because if they don't like it in the first place, then what's the point in doing it? So stay true to yourself and stick with it.
I totally agree with that. Hard work pays off. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Always meet new people. It's super good skills to learn anyways, just for life. But I totally agree with music. It's totally going to be helpful.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say you guys are absolutely amazing. I'm totally going to find a way to be at one of your concerts next year. But I absolutely enjoyed this conversation and interview with you guys. Thank you guys so much for being on the show with me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Make sure you say hi if you come out.
I definitely will. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next time.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys later. And that will wrap it up for this episode of Music with Mason. If you enjoyed this, please consider hitting the subscribe button, sharing this with your friends, liking the video, commenting who you want to see more of. And of course, as always, please, please, please spread the word. And always check these guys out. Worst Impressions, phenomenal band. You can check out their newest EP that was released in September right in the description below. And you can also check out their Instagram. You can also check out the website that is powered by my beautiful channel, 88.1 The Point. Super cool. 881thepoint.com. I will have that in the description as well. Thank you for joining me today, and we will see you guys next time.